Hello, my Esperholics. Today I'm going to start my next game review of
Rated everyone 10 and up.
Nintendo's first brand new IP since Pikmin, which has a very 90s feel to it. Seriously, the music and bright colors, almost neon colors, remind me of Nickelodeon or something. Seriously, take a listen. This is just one of the few songs that feels very 90s to me. Although I'm not a fan of shooter games, I wanted to try this game out and support Nintendo finally making something new. The gameplay is very fun and intense at times depending on the game mode you select. Splatoon is mainly a multiplayer focused game. That's where pretty much all your content will be at. From the standard mode called Turf War, where you fight to spread your ink the most on the map before the enemy does, and ranked battle, which is where you get a grade based on how well you play against other players. And let me tell you, getting in A rank is a pain in the ass. Then we have SWAT zones, which is like Turf War, but is in a much smaller space, and you try to play in that space from your enemy, making ranked battle more intense when you do that with SWAT zones on top of that. Tower control, where you and your team fight for control over a tower from the enemy, and Rainmaker, which is where you try to take a weapon called the Rainmaker capable of firing ink tornadoes to your enemy's goal. The first one to do this or get close to the enemy goal before time runs out wins. Needless to say, a lot of modes have been added to Splatoon since launch. I originally got the game when it first came out, and it felt very lacking in content compared to how it is now. Despite its cute art style, the game has a very dark story behind it, which is only exposed in Splatoon's single-player mode. In that mode, your Inkling has to get the Great Zapfish back from the Octarians, who are at war with the Inklings. That's a power back in Inkopolis. As you progress in the single-player mode, you'll get what are called these hidden scrolls, which reveal that the game takes place thousands of years in the future, where all of humanity and all other land animals, with the exception of Judd the cat, are extinct due to rising sea levels. This also brings the death of the video game industry as well. All sea creatures then evolved into their human-like forms and took over the abandoned land. Some of the humanoid sea creatures also run the shops where Inklings can go visit and get their gear to do better in battle. One issue I have with the game, aside from the ridiculously small aiming reticle, is the fact that the game clashes with its own continuity, making me wonder, why did they even bother making one to begin with? If humanity and all media from humanity is gone, then why do we have a Pokemon Splatfest and a Transformers Splatfest event? It kind of clashes with how the single-player mode campaign shows you that one of the scrolls reveals a human skeleton holding a Wii U satellite controller, saying that the unknown creature must be performing a ritual of sorts. In other words, they don't even know what gaming is. They don't understand what that is. Ultimately, it feels like the single-player mode was just added at the last minute or something. Considering the game doesn't even follow its own continuity, it feels like we almost shouldn't even have a single player mode, since you can play Splatoon without even touching the single player mode even once and still have a good time playing it. It does not affect the game at all. You can act like it doesn't even exist and you won't miss really anything. Although other reviewers have stated that it apparently does help you get used to Splatoon's gameplay mechanics better and does help you transition into multiplayer mode. I really do like Splatoon, but I feel like in the end it's just lacking, or maybe that's just me, and the fact that I'm not much of an online type of gamer. I prefer to do things alone. Actually, I think that's exactly it. But anyway, I did enjoy the Splatoon Splatfests, and especially making the picture for Squidward based off of the current Splatfest. Sadly, as of this review, the Splatfest has been terminated, and the final Splatfest was he choosing to fight either for Callie or Marie. Marie won the final Splatfest, so I guess she is the best now. I guess. I worry that with Splatfest being gone, this will ultimately kill Splatoon. We only have single player mode and multiplayer mode now. That's it. It will now just be doing the same sets of modes over and over. Splatfest added at least some variety in the sense that now you're competing as part of a festival to win rewards, which was a breath of fresh air for me from the normal way of playing Splatoon. I also especially loved how all the stages became nighttime during Splatfest, and the Inkling's team color was almost neon bright, making the ink really pop against the darker lighted stages. I really do like Splatoon. I think it's a fun game, but for me it did get boring after a while. Regardless of that though, I do love how it took a genre Nintendo has never done before and finally made something that stands out. There really is no other shooter like Splatoon out there, but unfortunately, as of this review, the Wii U is about to die, with the Nintendo NX being released as early as March 2017.